Hello, everyone, and welcome to Sentinels of Senior Year, Episode 2. This episode is called The Earth Gives and The Earth Takes. I am John McDonald, a.k.a. Panabon, a.k.a. Zordon. So we're going to go around the table, and everyone's going to be able to introduce themselves. Let's start with Brick, who is on my left. Hello, Brick.
Hello, hello, hello. Thank you for joining us once again.
Yes.
My name is John Blair, a.k.a. Kerrigan. I've been your lovable Pink Ranger these last several episodes. Glad to be back.
Yes. And then Jane Russell is also here. Hello, Jane.
Hello, I am Jane or Isabeth or Elizabeth. And I am excited to be back for season 2.
Yes. And of course, on Sundays, you play Drew, the bard with a dubious past, unlike clockwork.
I do.
Speaking of people with wonderful, colorful pasts, Cecily Adwell is here, our Renaissance Fair Blue Ranger.
Hello, hello. It's me, Lottie a la West, coming at you. If you want to check out any nerd content I'm bringing to you around the country this year at various cons, or if you just want to keep in contact, check me out on Instagram or on TikTok. And I'm so excited to I was going to say slash some things, but I'm like, oh, my sword's gone. So
you can still slash things with your blade blaster. You just don't get the reach, and it's not unicorn themed. So
yeah, it's true that there's a lot of downfalls there, but we'll move on.
But just remember what I told you, that everything happens for a reason, and never fear, because I kind of know what I'm doing, which maybe when I say kind of should give you a little bit of fear. Also, Eddy Thatch is here. Hello, Eddy.
Hello, Panabon. My name is Patrick Bryant, gesture if you're nerdy, and I play the Power Ranger in the black pajamas. That would be Eddy Thatch. Lovable oaf character, hopefully lovable. I try.
Yes.
Yeah.
And just to catch everyone up, because this is the first episode after the second season premiere for Sentinels of Senior Year, it hasn't been very long since Quentin disappeared and Luna joined the team. Unfortunately, the actor playing Luna had some work issues, so they'll be coming in and out of the season, which is not what they anticipated, but I think it will still serve the story very well, and I'm excited for when we can have Jack on. So today's episode, The Earth Gives and The Earth Takes, starts in the countryside. And as always, when I'm in the countryside, I like to say yeehaw. So I will welcome all of you, audience, and all of you Rangers by saying yeehaw. Today, we go back to the farm. And perhaps this is something you're comfortable with because you've been helping out Cecily with things happening in your yard. I know you've got chickens. Do you have like a victory garden, Cecily?
Yeah, I've got like a small amount of different various vegetables. It's a lot of herbs and stuff because they taste better if you grow them. And I haven't really lived in a place long enough that like I've been able to like really grow some stuff. So for a long time, they were always just kind of like in those little pots that you can like keep the herbs in your windows and stuff.
Yes. I want you to give me a survival roll, Cecily. And this is because foraging and hunting, which I consider growing your own victory garden foraging. So give me a survival roll. That's the first roll of the night. And 11. Okay, so you haven't really noticed much yet. You've had a little bit of trouble with some of your, like, kind of greener herbs. They're not really responding to watering like they used to. You're a little preoccupied with your chickens. They haven't gotten any better since last episode, but they haven't gotten any worse. So that's good. Catherine Parr now has a companion that also will not leave the little coop that you have built for them. Luckily, the coop is very nice, but they're not really socializing like they should. So anyone that's helped Cecily has noticed that. Regardless of whether or not you've helped Cecily, all of you and your City Slicker classmates are headed for a rural living environment for the day, which could be nice. It'll at least take your mind off of what happened a few days ago, maybe a week ago. It's hard to say. But the farm. It's a really fun place in Angel Grove to get away. It's a place where you can go and bale hay if you want to. If you buy pumpkins at Halloween, that's where you do it. Or if you're one of those people who likes to buy straight from the butcher, there's places to buy meat straight from the butchers and the farmers. It might bring to mind the idea of days of sunshine, the twang of a guitar, sweet tea on the porch with the dog napping and snoring at your feet. There's nothing really more idyllic than farm life. Today, of course, is Friday, and that means, in the case of this episode, a field trip to the Angel Grove 4-H farm exhibition and contest, and that does include pie making and pie eating. For all of Angel Grove, it is considered the quote-unquote blue ribbon weekend. There is a flurry of activity, a little bit of cattle rustling, and you can win something called cowboy cash throughout the weekend, which is cash you get for beating cowboys at stuff. That doesn't apply during this Friday field trip, but over the weekend, you can always go back with your parents. For all Angel Grove High seniors, you do have projects themed to the event that you need to complete over the weekend for credits. So, you are being bussed in by Angel Grove High. You're on bus 1 of 2. They do recommend coming back to the prairie with your parents over the weekend if you leave any parts of your report undone. For those in Earth Science, which right now is just you, Brick, you need to observe the 4-H livestock event or do soil testing for the English Lit classes, which include Jane and Cecily. You need to interview one of the craft contestants or some sort of rural type person about their favorite book, poem, or author. For Eddy, Mr. Kruger has asked that any shop students observe how the barns are constructed or how a hay baler works, but he's also entering the pie eating contest, so he won't really be paying that much attention to begin with. Anyone can enter the pie eating contest. This year's flavor is cherry, for anyone wondering. You are on your way, and as you were on your way, Jane, you did not have time yet to open it. So this morning, as you were getting ready for school to hop on this field trip bus, you had a knock at your door you didn't get to in time, and you don't know who left this, but there was a manila envelope left at your door anonymously with a little bit of something inside. And I sent you a message about the contents of that envelope. You can read it quickly to yourself, or you can read it aloud however you want. But the secret message I sent to you, you may now read.
Mm.
Oh my.
Yes. And while Jane is reading that to decide how they want to respond, if anyone wants to notice anything on the bus or have any questions about things that are going on your way, would anyone like to do anything of that nature?
I have a question. Since the last episode, with the relative sudden turn of Bulk and Skull's friendship with each other, is Bulk still a part of this different crew, or has that possibly dissolved since the monster attack?
Give me an alertness roll.
Alrighty.
With edge.
Submitted. I have rolled
You rolled a 13. So Bulk and Skull seem to be fine now. Whatever was going on seems to have healed in the interim. But like they're sitting together, but they're not like sitting, like they're in the same seat, but there's like a little bit of a thing going on, and they're just like, they're very hushed and just talking to each other. We're not interacting with other people. Almost like they're comparing notes about something.
But we're not seeing any more of Bulk like bullying Skull directly.
Yeah, he still is, because you have shop class, you know that he's hanging out with Marilee, Fenwick, Wrexham Banks a little bit, but it's not like it was last week. And whether that's great or whether that's worse is up to you to decide.
Have I noticed anything weird about the other three individuals in the class? Like, as far as like, because it seemed like Bulk ended up being a part of this clique that kind of had weird influences, and then their freaking car turned into a monster, right? So if Bulk wasn't the source of that corruption per se, I'd be really curious about the other three in that group.
So the issue is that you don't really know any of them well. The only one in that group that you know you could find out information about would be Brick and Fenwick know each other, but Rex and Banks aren't really, they kind of just go about their business. So if you have any questions like that, you'd probably want to ask Brick if Fenwick has been acting weird, because you only really know them for class. They're like co-workers essentially, so it's hard to say.
Okay.
I think Brick is probably sitting next to Jane on the bus and is complaining about his earth science thing that he has to do because he ironically hates rocks.
Dr. Henry Marta, who teaches earth sciences, is the only person that has asked about Quentin, by the way.
Has he asked anyone specific, or it's a general kind of...
Just like a general, hey, does anybody know where Quentin is, to the class? Because Quentin is also the cameraman for the Angel Grove High morning news, and that has been kind of a problem. So has anyone offered any information when Dr. Mardo has asked in class?
I'm going to say that he had a family emergency and had to go somewhere for an unknown amount of time.
Great. Dr. Henry Amardo is not mollified by that, but at least someone knows where Quentin is, which is something. Jane, you are sitting next to Brick and probably contemplating Quentin potentially, but also contemplating what you have in your manila envelope, if you would like to work that into the conversation.
She's only kind of half listening to Brick complain about earth science. And she's kind of, she has, she has two stones in her hand, and she's kind of like moving them around in her hands and staring at them and like feeling them, trying to like she's never seen two stones before. And the whole time she's like, oh yeah, that sucks that you have to do that. That sounds like a boring assignment. This is really weird.
What are those in your hand?
I got a letter from Luna. And these were in the package she left me.
What did the letter say? Anything crazy?
I mean, it's
okay, or
I don't know. It's weird. It says, "Dear Jane, I'm sorry to have to do this via letter. Yesterday, my aunt vanished into thin air, and when my parents called to check in and she didn't answer, they came to get me. I'll come back to Angel Grove if I can find a way, but there's something weird going on, and it's definitely not the military's doing like I thought. You'll need these. They'll help you to see. Luna, P.S. Thank you for everything you did for me in Stone Canyon. I didn't get to say that." And then I hand him one of the stones. There's two of these.
They'll help you see? What does that mean?
I have no idea. They'll help you to see. And the stones, they're 2 stones and they have circles in the middle. Is it just one circle in the middle or like a circle within a circle?
It is one circle in the middle. They're not donuts, but for people at home, if you visualize small rock donuts that are imperfectly shaped, that is what they are. They have a specific name. Did I give you the name in that? The specific name?
No, it just says enclosed in the envelope.
All right, then I want you to roll me. What do I want you to roll? I want you to roll me performance, Jane.
Oof, I got a 9. Can I re-roll?
Are you showing anyone else these stones?
Where is Cecily and Eddy sitting on the bus?
I feel like Cecily is a window seat girl, but that's all I can really.
Eddy would have actually sat by, not with you guys, but away, and relatively close to where like Bulk and Skull are.
Okay, so we're going to do this. We're going to do 2 things here. I'm going to do Cecily first. I'm going to come back to Eddy. Jane, are you showing Cecily these stones and the letter?
Not yet. I'm showing Brick because he's right next to me. And then when we get someplace where I can show Cecily, I will show her.
Let's fast forward a little bit to where you've shown Cecily. Cecily, have you read Coraline?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then I want you, Jane, to re-roll that performance, but I want you to do with lend assistance, which gives you a shift up on your die from Cecily's kind of hazy knowledge of Coraline.
Okay. 18?
Great. Those are hagstones. For those who don't know what hagstones are, haven't read Coraline. In Coraline, the hagstones were used, you looked through the inside hole to see things. And in Coraline specifically, they showed the world as it was, not as what the other mother was making it to look like. And Cecily, that's something, when you see them, because hagstones are a very ritualized thing, and hagstones are made specifically, the holes are not man-made by weathering and age and water. So they have a very sacred use, and they're sacred made out of energy. So Cecily, you definitely know that.
Yeah. I want to look through them.
Hand them to her so she can look through them.
Give me a culture roll with a snag, because you're on a bus and you're moving.
Okey-doke. We're going to try it.
Culture roll with the snag. You never know. It could happen.
I mean, Cecily does not roll well.
I mean, you did get to, take a putty's heart from its chest, Indiana Jones style. So, you've done some pretty cool stuff.
Do I get to use my old world history? I feel like this.
Yeah, it does. You're still doing it with a snag, but yeah, use your specialization. I'm always in favor of that.
Let's see. Got a 13.
A 13. All right, so it doesn't really work indoors so much. You do vaguely take it across the audience of people that are not paying attention to you. For a moment, focusing on Skull, it's a little fuzzy, but you move too quickly to really catch it. What you catch outside of the bus, though, with this 13 is that even though you're moving fast, the ground is a little hazier than it should be. It's nothing that sounds worrying to your eye, but you're moving fast, but you're not moving as fast as the ground is. Like when you're in a fast moving car and the earth looks a certain way, it looks like that, but you're not moving as quickly as that speed would entail. I hope that makes sense, because it made sense in my head.
No, that makes sense.
Yeah.
And I think Cecily's gonna be like, things are like a little weird, but I don't know.
So we're moving slower than we are.
No, well, so
Supposed
you're in a public school bus. So your public school bus can only go so quickly. What Cecily sees is an Earth that is a little blurrier, and it's almost like you should be moving faster based on how the Earth looks through the Hagstone. Like you should be going like about 30 miles an hour quicker. So the Earth is just like blurry, like you're not moving fast enough.
And I'm gonna turn to Jane. I'm like, looking through these, like there's just like something weird. It's just weird. I don't like. It feels like everything's like a little bit off, and that we're kind of like a little bit lagging or something.
I wonder if we can use these stones to look at our weapons and Quentin's console back at the command center.
Maybe. That's a good idea. Too bad we have this field trip that we have to sit through.
I know, and Quentin was always way better at earth science than me, and now I gotta go do this, and I don't even know what collecting soil. Something about mome. What is that?
Also, Brick, you know who would love a pieting contest? Quentin.
Yeah.
He'd love a pieting contest.
He would.
Pieting contest.
Well, I can help you collect your soil samples if you go around with Cecily and I to do our interviews.
That sounds way more fun. Playing in dirt all day.
Speaking of playing in dirt all day, Eddy, I want you to give me Streetwise because you're listening to gossip.
Okay. Streetwise coming right up. I have rolled an 11.
They're talking in very low voices, and you cannot make out what they're saying, although every now and then you just hear like a curse word followed by the word magic with it. They are much more comfortable in low tones using expletives than they are in a shouty sort of way. But they're obviously both very angry about something and commiserating about something.
All right.
Okay. Is there anything anybody else wants to do for parts?
On the bus?
Yeah, you're still on the bus. If there's anything you want to do before the bus parts, now is the time in which to do it. I will let you know Mr. Kruger is on this bus, by the way. He's very excited about entering the pie eating contest. And Mrs. Appleby is on this bus as well.
For the sake of my own story notes, just so I can remember, what's the name of the 3 people that befriended Bulk prior to the last episode? Fenwick was one of them.
Fenwick, who is a baseball player that Brick knows. Merritt Lee, who is a track and field star who Brick oddly doesn't know, because track and field kind of do their own thing. They're a little bit of a cult in a way. And then Rex and Banks, who don't really, they have personalities, but they're just very much like around. Hard to explain. Like when you look at Rex and Banks, you like know they're people, but like they just don't seem to like register individually to you.
Yeah, because several things kind of run through Eddy's head at the moment. It's just like trying not to think too much about Quentin, trying to kind of figure out what the heck's going down with that creature that we fought, and everything leading up to that with the Pine Box Derby, the folks involved and everything is just rubbing me the wrong way. So it kind of probably like pseudo paranoia, just trying to keep tabs on all these people.
Did you or did anybody go back to the field to try to find Quentin's Shoji? Or Shoju?
Yeah.
His cat weapons. Did anyone go back to try to find his cat weapons whose name I can't pronounce?
I imagine
Yes.
all of us did, probably.
Yes.
I'm game for that.
Yeah,
All
I
right.
mean, like, look for any sort of answer.
Okay, so here's what we're gonna do. We can do it where one person was in the lead and you're gonna get a lend assistance, so you get to go up a shift, or you could all try at the individual roll. What do you want to do?
Lend assistance.
What are we rolling for?
So you're rolling to find it, so it's going to be an infiltration roll. So you can either do, one person's going to do it with lend assistance, and they're going to get a shift up, or it's going to be everybody's rolling their own personal infiltration, and we'll see if anybody managed to find them in the field.
Does anybody have any points in infiltration?
I
Well,
have a
Quentin
D2. Yeah, Quentin would have been the one to do this. I have a D2. That's it.
We get to
Okay.
more there.
If all of us
Yeah, I have a 2 too.
Yeah.
have a 2
same.
also. Oh, I don't have any. Okay. So if so just one of us is rolling, and then can everyone else give like a shift up, or just one shift up for one
It's,
person?
so lend assistance is just going to be one shift up for how I remember reading it in the book. If I'm wrong, people can yell at me later. But I'm gonna be consistent in how I do it. So it's gonna be one shift up for lend assistance.
I have a mechanics question. I have the ability caretaker influence. The text on my sheet here simply says lend assistance or medicine or group check. You give an edge. Would that apply to this?
Caretaker is actually one of the influences, and so you gain an edge for all medicine and group checks, and give an extra edge to those you aid with lend assistance. So for whoever does want to roll, you will give an edge to lend assistance. It doesn't specify just for medicine. So I'm going to say if someone wants to do lend assistance for seeing if they can find the Yellow Ranger's power weapon, they can do that with a shift up and then an edge. You just have to pick the person that's going to do it unless you all want to roll individually.
So I would prefer to assist someone.
Yeah. So I think it should be either Cecily or Jane.
I'll try.
Go ahead.
That's, you said it was what role?
It's an infiltration, so it's really going to be whoever has the highest.
None of us,
infiltration.
yeah, none of
Sounds like we all have D2 on that one.
yeah.
You got a 21.
Nice.
I wouldn't celebrate quite yet.
No.
You find the scorch marks where they landed, but they are not there. But they should be right there.
Well, that doesn't seem.
That's something to think about, is that definitely Quentin's power weapon should have been on the field and was not on the field. And now you have hagstones, which is interesting. And the bus is going to pull up at the 4-H farm exhibition. And the first thing that you see as your two buses from Angel Grove High park are little signposts pointing off in various directions. Now, I will say you do have a whole day. You don't have to do your reports right away. You do have time to do things. You were able to pack a lunch, so you don't have to hurry. You could do something else if it interests you. The exhibition itself has signposts that read corn maze, livestock, crafting tent, the sweets and jam showcase, the pie eating contest, or the 4-H tent farm knowledge symposium. And you can decide where you want to go.
Are there any pig races?
There are no pig races today. There is a pig wrestling competition this weekend, but it is also being boycotted by some animal rights activists. So it may or may not actually be happening this weekend. But in theory, you've known for many years that the pig racing is a thing if you've lived in Angel Grove. So none of that is happening today.
Cool. Can you repeat Can you repeat all of the things that we can go do?
Yes. What I will do is I will say it, and then I will also type it into chat. We got a corn maze. We got livestock. You can go see. We have the crafting tent, the sweets and jam showcase. We've got the pie eating contest. And we have the 4-H tent symposium, which is a big fancy long word for you're going to sit and watch this PowerPoint for an hour and a half.
My initial thought is that Cecily would want to go check out the jellies and jams, but she might want to go.
Same.
But I think she's about to actually try to head over to livestock and see if she can find somebody that specializes in chickens and see if she can get some advice on her chickens.
Those were also my two things that I wanted to do. So either sweets and jams or livestock, I think, are great choices. Brick obviously wants to check out the sweets and jams, but also Brick kind of has like a soft spot for animals. So he wants to maybe go see some of the little livestock section.
Okay. Does anybody else have any other thoughts?
Eddy is going to not worry too much about which side he's going to go to. And, given what you said about the shop instructor being in the pie eating contest, my brain's not really even on the assignment so much. I'm going to attempt to kind of shadow Brick and Skull.
Do you mean Bulk and Skull?
Bulk and Skull, yes, that is what I mean.
All right. Well, Bulk and Skull are headed to the corn maze.
To the maze I go.
All right. Jane, what would you like to do?
Jane wants to check out the crafting tent.
All right. So here's what I will advise. We'll do the corn maze, and then the livestock and the sweet and jam will lead to the next part because that's where they're doing blue ribbon awards. So the livestock makes more sense. And then the crafting tent is right next to sweets and jams, so those can happen together, which makes sense in my head. So let's start at the corn maze, and we'll start with Eddy going to the corn maze. I'm going to close this down so I can actually see my notes. So Eddy, the corn is taller than you, so you can actually get lost in this maze. But luckily, they thought about that, so they do have little orange flags, and Bulk and Skull are currently picking up orange flags and playing sword at each other, hitting each other a little bit with the flags. They are not paying any attention to you or really anybody else. There is a little disclaimer at the front of the corn maze that if you do get lost, they will find you in 10 minutes or less. 10 minutes or less, or your next corn maze entry is free. Do you follow Bulk and Skull into the corn maze?
I'm having second thoughts at the moment because it looks like they're being real chummy again, which is good. If I see one of the other individuals nearby, Fenwick, Merritt, Rex, or Banks, I'll shift direction, follow them. But if I don't see them, then I'll follow Bulk and Skull.
Yeah, Merritt Lee is following Bulk, and he looks super pissed.
In that case, that's where my attention is going to be. It's going to be following that interaction.
All right. I want you to roll me survival to see if you get lost, tailing Merritt Lee, tailing Bulk.
Survival. I got an 11.
You got an 11. You do pretty well for a little while, but you don't. It's not a 1-for-1 because it is a maze. It is not a labyrinth. So you do get a little turned around, but it's not the end of the world. You can actually kind of hear several people have taken to this corn maze. People are having fun and not doing their work, which in Angel Grove is actually probably okay. I want you to give me which is higher for you, nature or sciences?
Let's see here.
Actually, I guess science would be. How high is your science?
My science is 0.
Okay. I want you to do well there. Give me a D20 anyways. We'll see if you notice the thing in science.
And so rolling a skill without anything in it would normally be a snag, right?
No, it's just a straight D20. It's only a snag if it's there's a special snag for initiative if you don't have any points in it. But it's just a straight D20 if you don't have a specialization.
Yeah, gotcha.
Unless you want to give yourself a snag, I'm not going to tell you how to live your life.
Well, the reason I'm asking is because of the tragic anything ability. I get to re-roll a snag on anything, which is why I inquired. I rolled an 8 on the D20.
You rolled an 8. Some of the corn is a little drier than it should be. It looks a little more withered than its cousins, but it's not that big a deal. As you're following, you can hear Merritt Lee muttering under their voice and muttering specifically Bulk's name. Unfortunately, they're on the other side of the row that you're on, so you can't really catch what they're saying, but they're moving at a pretty fast pace. You come to the center of the maze, which you did not anticipate doing. You were just kind of following along, but you come to the center of the maze, and in the center of the maze, there is a couple of hay bales, and on top of one of the hay bales is this little, golden yellow marble thing. And there's a little sign over going, "Congratulations for reaching the center of the maze." I want you to give me a culture roll. If you have a specialization in grid lore, now's the time to take it.
I actually do.
Okay.
Ooh.
12.
A 12. I mean, it's kind of weird, but I guess it's a prize. So you can't quite keep up with both the maze and Merritt Lee. But nobody has cried out for help. And so I guess you've inherited a golden marble. Kind of neat.
All right.
Or you could leave it there. It's up to you.
Yeah, actually, I'm thinking I'll leave it there because I'm much more focused on that muttering, and I want to make sure that it doesn't get away from me to the best of my ability. Assuming I still hear it.
You can still hear it, but it's kind of moving away as you run forward, as you kind of run and weave, trying to make the noise. You can feel your arms start to itch because famously bugs live in corn, and it's they're trying to cut through some areas.
Oh yeah.
So you'll need some calamine lotion when you get home. Merritt's mutterings don't, except for when he's saying the word bulk. Sometimes you hear the word car, but it doesn't they don't seem like fully formed words.
So at this point, I very, very much want to try to get a visual on whoever's doing the muttering to try to figure this out. I'd imagine I can't really identify the person just by the sound of the voice.
Well, you're kind of losing Merritt Lee a little bit, and you're getting a little bit lost in the maze yourself too, because you've been so focused, you're a little bit turned around.
Yeah, and the big bug of a kid basically just crashing through the corn maze kind of frantically is probably going to attract attention at some point.
You will attract attention at some point, but you are not the only one crashing through the maze. So the farmers may be very sad about the destruction of their corn maze. Or maybe they won't. It might be left over from Halloween and they're looking for the damage. But you kind of lose Merritt, but also you hear Bulk and Skull occasionally. So whatever Barrett's up to no issue has presented itself whilst you're in the maze.
Oh, that's right. You already mentioned it was Merritt. That was the voice, yeah?
Yes, so, Merritt Lee is the voice.
For whatever reason in my head, I kind of missed that detail. All right.
Well, you can always join your friends in the livestock tent if you are satisfied, because that's where we're going next.
I lost track of the suspicious individual, yeah?
Yeah, you're just kind of hanging out in a corn maze.
And in that case, yeah, I'm going to try to find my friends.
All right, you stumble through the corn maze trying to get out, so you're going to miss most of the speech, but you'll come in as Carl, the farmer slash cowboy slash ranch hand, has finished his introduction. Cecily, Jane, and Brick, you all went to livestock together. Did that happen? Or Jane, you went somewhere else?
Yeah, I'll go with them to the livestock and then head over to the crafting tent.
Okay. The livestock, it's kind of like a faux barn. It's more like shaded stalls right next to each other. Cecily, give me an animal handling with edge.
21.
21. The chickens are kind of like huddled around the horse's feet, and the horse is not really paying much attention to them, but the horses are also not moving. There is a cow that has positioned herself right in front of her calf. Like, the calf is at the back of the stall, the cow is there, and the mama cow is like purposely gazing at every person that walks by that stall. Even if you don't have like an encyclopedic knowledge of animals, something is definitely going on, and these animals are on like alerts. Brick, you noticed this too. Like, I'm not even going to make you roll. Like, it's just Cecily was hyper focused, so we started there. But like, anyone noticing the animals, they are all like hyper fixated. And the ones that don't have kids are like hyper fixated on the horizon line. And Carl is just kind of standing there in classic like flannel pattern with overalls on, and is just kind of like chewing a piece of hay. Very classic archetype farmer. And he's like, "Yeah, I'm Carl. Welcome to the livestock tent. Here's where we tell you all about the animals we got here. See, we got a Holstein for milking. Just had a calf, and that calf's going to be of milking age pretty soon too. We got different types of chickens here. We grow Plymouth Rocks for cold. We got a couple of for warm. We don't have roosters here because you don't actually need them for hens. Fun fact: hens don't need roosters to lay eggs, which is kind of neat to know. And we got our feed barrel over here, so you can look at what feed looks like. We got some alfalfa and hay. If anybody wants to try feeding some, you can go ahead and do it. The animals seem a little distracted today, but that's just how animals are sometimes. Does anyone have any questions, anything they're curious about, they want to know about?
Well, I think Cecily's going to wait until everybody else isn't paying attention so she can ask like private questions rather than just...
Jane, give me an alertness roll.
I got a 10.
There is a gray tabby cat that lives kind of in the area that is looking at you, and cats kind of always look a little sad, but this cat is looking at you like they know what's going on. Like, they can see into your soul and just will not look anywhere else. And they're just like sad.
Jane will carefully walk over to where the cat is and kind of get down on my knees and hold out a hand and just kind of wait to see if it comes over.
It has a really gravelly like purr. It doesn't come up to you, but it does rub against your hand as though it's trying to like give you some comfort.
Aww. I will just. I'm done now. This is my home now. This cat is going to be just going to be here with the cat for the rest of the day. She's just going to sit there and rub on the cat.
It is a tomcat, which is a little strange because normally it's the mama cat that is more like that. But it's a tomcat, so that's just something to know. Brick, unless you have any questions, I'm going to let Cecily ask their questions of Carl.
Yeah, I was gonna maybe like nudge to Jane or Cecily or whoever has the looking stones or the hag stones. Maybe they could like check them out through the stone to see if any of them are like if there's a reason why they're acting weird.
Brilliant. Great idea. I think Cecily's so hyper fixated on her chickens that she didn't even like think of that. She like thought it was a natural problem, and she's like, okay. And she's gonna like slide. I think she has them still. Is that?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. She's gonna like kind of try to see where she can be the least conspicuous, putting rocks up to her eyes in his tent.
By the way, you only need one. You do not have to look through both. They're not like binoculars, by the way. Yeah, up to you.
Well, then can we both look through them then?
Yeah, you totally can. Give me a culture roll if you're going to look through them.
Let's look through them.
Let's look through the rock holes.
Rock holes.
Cecily got a 21. Brick, you got a 15. Cecily, what were you looking at?
I was looking at the chickens.
Yeah, no change in the chickens. They still look very. They look, but since you're so hyper focused, they look incredibly freaked out. That's pretty much all that you can tell. One of them is actually preening themselves and losing their feathers, like pretty quickly. Brick, what were you looking for?
I was gonna look at the cat that Jane is petting, or I was gonna like turn towards like wherever the animals are staring at to see if there's like something that they're actually staring at, or
which one do you want to do?
I'm gonna look at the horizon or wherever all of the animals are staring currently.
Yeah, they're staring kind of at the horizon. You're 15. So you know how in summer the horizon line is kind of wavy, like it's hot?
Right, yeah.
Yeah, it's like that right now, but it's not hot enough for that.
That's weird. Cool. Well, no, with that information, I don't know if I guess I was gonna see if like how things play out, like what Cecily was gonna do after, or like what Jane's doing after, but I do want to bring this to their attention, but I don't know if right now is the right time.
Well, it may not be the right time because Carl is going to sidle up because all the other students are like petting the cow. Oh, it's so cool. I'm touching a cow. No. Carl's going to sidle with Cecily and go, Miss, why do you got a hagstone? What did you bring a hagstone to a farm for?
She's like, oh, I found it on the ground and it made me think of a movie that I saw once. So I wanted to see if it was real in the movie.
Yeah, those kinds of things are very real, miss. I would not play footsie with a hagstone if you don't need to. Furthermore, they come from water features, so if you're gonna lie, you gotta think of a better lie than just find them on a farm. We don't got a water feature that makes a hagstone.
Well, maybe it dropped out of somebody's pocket.
Better lie, good lie. So you come to livestock for a reason, I reckon.
I was just wondering. You kind of look like you're having the same problem. My chickens have been kind of lethargic lately. I have 6 chickens, and
oh, do you name your chickens? It's always important to name your chickens. You get better quality eggs with a chicken name.
Well, there's Catherine and Anne and there's a lot of names. They all have names, and if I go into it, it'll take forever. But yes, they've been acting kind of lethargic, just like the chickens that I'm seeing right here. Have you been having any problems, or am I just projecting?
So about a week ago, this started where we started getting concerned. But last time they acted like this, it just meant we were going to have an earthquake. And then sometimes it happens where it just comes and goes. The animals see things we can't see as humans. Sometimes they're like an early warning system. That's why we also keep dogs here. And so maybe they're reacting to like a small earthquake that we can't feel, but they'll eventually snap out of it. And if it gets to be too much longer, it might take them to a vet. But it's not something humans can necessarily do anything about.
Okay. Well, that kind of makes me feel better. So thank you.
I'll do what I can.
She's going to turn back to Brick.
Kids bringing hagstones. Thought I'd seen everything.
She's going to like slide it into the pocket of her dress.
Better not brought a damn Ouija board onto my property. I have to escort him off.
I'm going to tell Cecily that all the animals seem to be staring in the same direction, and I'm going to tell her that I saw through the hagstone like some weird, like it looked like there was some, I don't even know what the right word to say would be, interference or thermal energy, or just it looked weird up there, and I think we should probably go check it out.
Good idea. This place is there's something weird going on.
Not in Angel Grove. Nothing weird goes on.
Nothing weird. Nothing weird ever happens in Angel Grove.
I will say before you go off toward the horizon, it was the whole horizon, Brick. Like I will allow that you like moved your head to see how much, and it was the whole horizon line. So you can go toward it, but then you're just going toward like
just walking far away.
Yeah, just the salt flats of Angel Grove. Like I don't know how far you want to go, but at a certain point there's just nothing, and then there's Area 52 at some point. So.
Oh. Gotcha. Well then, never mind. Is there any way that I can use I have hometown roots, right? Oh, but that's okay. I have small town roots, which gives me the ability to ask you stuff, but can I tell that is in the direction of Area 52?
You don't know that because of small town roots. You only know that because the rocks on the horizon sort of look the same color as like the canyon rocks from where you fought the bee construction worker enemy. So like, that's like in the distance. Also, Area 52 is super big. So like if you come across some fence in the desert with nothing beyond it, you're there anyways. The military is not being subtle about this by any stretch of the imagination.
I thought it was all underground.
It's underground, but there could be also above ground portions of it.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, then I guess I don't say that, and I just keep that to myself because it's not really pertinent information. Can I look at the cat through the hagstone?
Eddy is approaching, so you can totally do that while Eddy approaches if you'd like to.
Yeah.
I want you to give me a culture roll to look at the cat.
Look at the cat through the hagstone with
through the hagstone. You got a 5. It's a gray tabby cat that has taken a liking to Jay.
Okay.
It's my new best friend now.
It's true.
I love this cat.
Unfortunately, it is a barn cat, and so as you head over to the Sweets and Jam showcase, it will not be following you.
Oh,
sadness.
Wait, were we doing?
I
the
think no. We're
tent?
going to the craft tent.
You're going to the craft tent. That's what I was just going to ask if I had the right place, but it's not following you to the craft tent. It does look at you kind of mournfully, though, which is kind of unsettling for a cat to do. If you're going to be completely honest with yourself, the cat knows something is up, even if they don't know exactly what it is. But on to the crafting tent.
Did you guys want to go to the sweets and jams tent or showcase first?
You are not going to have time to do both.
Oh, okay. Oh, then we can go to the sweets and jams showcase. We don't have to go to the crafting tent just for me.
Nah, it's okay. There's more time for us to come and do stuff. I'd rather us all stick together.
Yeah. After that.
Are you sure? I can go with you to the sweets and jams. I don't have to go to crafting. I don't want you guys to miss out on something you both want to do just for something that I want to do.
That's so kind of you there, Miss Janie. But
Carl gives you a dirty look from afar. Here's someone mocking him.
what was your goal with the craft tent? Did you have
No, I just wanted to look around. I like
the
arts and
crafting
crafts.
tent is also where you will find people to interview for the English lit assignment that you do technically
You
have.
gotta do your thing. Yeah, you gotta go do your assignments.
Good thinking. I was just going to fake it.
I'm not going to try to live your life.
That wouldn't even have crossed Jane's mind. She's too much of a goody-goody.
It's like I was just going to make up a person.
I mean, Eddy has also read, so you could also ask Eddy if crafting tent or Sweden jam showcase.
So,
Eddy,
as I'm
crafting
approaching
tent.
the thing, they're all together.
Yes. Eddy, should we go to the crafting tent or should we go check out the sweets and jams?
I don't know, but do you know Merrill? I think he does track, right?
I know he kind of hangs out with Fenwick sometimes, but I don't really know much about the guy. Why?
Oh, it's Merritt, not Merrill. Goodness, he was in the corn maze, just muttering Bulk's name, but like half-brainedly, almost like zombie-ish.
Huh? That sounds kind of weird.
But leading up to like the Pine Box incident, rest in peace, Dapper Clucker.
Too soon. Too soon.
I'm so sorry. Bulk was getting really chummy with a few people as they were making those pine boxes, right? And it was theirs that did all that, right? So, and now he's acting all weird. I just feel, I feel like almost like I'm just kind of like should be in a room with string and yarning a bunch of push pins at this point.
Well, then I guess we should keep an eye on him. But was he doing what was Bulk doing?
Bulk and Skull were just fooling around like almost nothing's happened.
Yeah, because last time they were kind of like at each other's throats. I guess maybe we should just maybe keep an eye on the guy. I'm not really sure. Like I said, I don't really know him very well.
Yeah, because like at shop, it was almost like there was like a Bulk formed like a clique of new people. It was Fenwick, Merritt, and Rex and Banks, I think, got the names. And I just two sportsy folks, right? And so not really yourself happily excluded from that. Not really folks that I'm around too often. And Rex and Banks, are they like they new or
Eddy,
something? Like, I don't think I've even really
Eddy,
seen them before.
Look, I'm also taking the Quentin thing kind of hard. But I think you might be. I think it's possible that you might be overreacting just a little bit. Bulk and Skull seem to be fine. There doesn't seem to be anything weird going on. Maybe this Merrick guy just doesn't like Skull, and he hasn't, and he likes Bulk, and Bulk is hanging out with Skull again, and that is making him jealous. Sometimes people get jealous. I don't know. But if you don't mind, I keep thinking about, you keep bringing up that day with
I just can't stop thinking about it.
I know.
Sorry.
I get it. I just think we should maybe focus on getting our homework done. And
I will say Bulk and Skull are now at the Sweets and Jam showcase. So
okay, I'm gonna head over to the Sweets and Jams showcase just because I feel like that's what I want to do.
Sweets and Jam showcase.
If you guys want to come, that's cool. If not, I guess I'll go check it out and then play in the dirt for a minute so I can get that stupid earth science homework done.
But tell us how you really feel. The Sweet and Jam showcase is slightly more chaotic. This is where all the capitalism is, really. A whole bunch of people are purchasing things. There's candy apples, there's toffee, there's saltwater taffy. Even though you don't have saltwater around for saltwater taffy, it is somehow there. There are honey sweets. There is a jam tasting station, so you can try different jams with little spoons. And there is a woman with long dark hair who is like stirring fudge in a giant copper kettle on top of an oven.
Is there like a sample table?
That is what the little spoons are for, and you can try different jams. But only the jams are available for sample. Anything beyond jams, and there are no samples for anything beyond jams.
Cool. Brick is going to start hanging out at the jam tasting area, trying jams.
All right.
That one's a little spicy. I like that.
You have tried a habanero onion relish jam, by the way. Not all sweet jams. Some savory. Cecily and Jane, are you doing the Sweets and Jam showcase?
I will. I'm going to actually tag along with Jane after she suggested that she's going to be looking for somebody for the English Lit thing. And I was like, maybe I shouldn't just make up a person.
Okay. So you do want to go to the crafting tent?
Yeah.
At least briefly to find somebody to talk to for a minute, I guess.
Yeah. That's
Eddy, were you heading toward the Jam-a-Palooza?
I'm going to follow Jane and try to get her aside for a moment privately to ask her something.
Okay. There is some... Cecily, you're going to get distracted by some lovely crocheted tapestry, so that Jane is kind of on the other side of a table. There is a table here at the crafting tent that is not being manned, and none of the other grandmothers will look in that direction. But it's not necessarily because they're busy. And that's where Jane and Eddy are going to kind of be over. Yeah.
Hey, Jane.
Yeah, what's up?
You got a month?
Yeah.
So, I was trying to. I feel almost like I'm probably kind of like freaking losing my mind a little bit, but given everything that's going on with Sky Lady and Fish Tank Bro and Giant Five and everything, it just trying to kind of like step away from or not dwell on what happened with like the mindset that maybe someone's friend jealous of Brick. Just I don't think that will really ease my mind much. But so with what's going on, like, do you think that I'm just putting stuff together like that? Not really. That's more coincidental than anything, or because this makes sense to me. Like, this seems like a thing. What about you?
Do you really think something's going on here? Like, do you really think it's actually something going on, or is it you trying to come to grips with what happened to Quentin? Because if you genuinely think that something is wrong, I will trust that and I will believe you. I will look into it with you.
I really do think there's something. It's just I don't really have anything but circumstantial thoughts to back it up.
Okay.
Because it's a lot of things are just a little too close, but it's not like Brick gets like a new friend group doing shop, and what happens? Well, the very same shop, like, yeah, right. And then overheard that like the friendship kind of split for a little bit, but then once the other piece was gone, now it's like back to normal. I mean, we've had a lot of circumstances where things go into a momentary Sky Lady magic BS crap, and then it's back to normal, right? So this really smells suspicious.
Okay. Well, I trust your judgment. I haven't seen it. So all I have to go on is what you've seen and what you think. Do you know where they are now?
I think I saw Bulk and Skull heading towards the Sweets and Jams, but I lost track of most anyone else. Just do me a favor, please. Like,
yeah.
If you think I'm getting a little bit too close to like tinfoil hat territory or white jacket type stuff, like, let me know, because I don't really deal with loss well.
Of course. Just don't go off on your own again. If you see something weird, come get one of us and let one of us go with you. I don't really think we should be separating too much right now.
I'll be honest with you. I'll try, but I can't promise that.
Okay.
Jane, give me an alertness roll.
Alertness. I got a 14.
Got a 14.
Mm-hmm.
So as Eddy's talking and you're piecing this stuff together, you look down at this like table where there should be a happy grandmother like talking to you right now, and there's not. And this needle, there's like needle point that she has done that looks like the Dreamcatcher needle point, so it's round. I don't know what it's actually called, but the embroidery that has been done looks like Angel Grove in negative. Like, it doesn't look like Angel Grove done in like a blue thread. It looks like someone was trying to do Angel Grove and they did like a negative version of Angel Grove, like a photograph.
Well, that's interesting.
Well, what's interesting, dear? You get the attention of one of the other grandmothers.
Oh, I noticed this piece here. It's really interesting. Did you make this?
Oh, no, dear. Oh, that's Luann. She hasn't been feeling very well, bless her. So we brought some of her crafts down. If you're interested in purchasing it, it's just, we all live at the old folks home here in the Angel Grove Salt Flats, we call them. And so you can, I don't know why I'm slipping into a Minnesotan accent for grandmothers. I guess just this where I go. No, that's Luann's piece. She's been under the weather for the past couple of days. You know how old folks get, a cold breeze comes through and we get ill,
Oh, poor Luann. I would like to buy this, I think. How much is it?
Give me a persuasion roll.
11.
She is lying.
She's lying?
She is lying. Hard.
What did you say was wrong with Luann?
Oh, she just, someone gets sick, and kids come to visit and they have a cold and they pass the cold on, and then you kind of end up in your room for a few days getting better, and sometimes you come out of your room, sometimes you don't, it's fine.
Well, actually, let me ask this. Can I tell which part of this she's lying about? Is she lying about Luann being sick or Luann making this?
She's lying about Luann being sick.
Okay. Well, I haven't heard anything about I do a lot of volunteer work, and I haven't heard anything about, a sickness going through the home. Are you sure that's what happened? Because you can tell me. Look at this face.
Doris gets a look from one of the other grandmothers. And you don't successfully get to purchase that piece because the grandmothers just kind of huddle around Doris and kind of shuffle her away from you.
It's like Granny Shakedown.
And it's about at that time that Brick, the woman that's stirring the copper cauldron with the fudge, kind of approaches you and says, "Oh, hello, young man. Are you from Angel Grove High?"
Oh, what is that? Blueberry? No, maybe boys. Oh, hi. Yeah, I am.
Hi. I'm sorry to ask this. I was wondering if you knew my son, if he's in one of your classes, my son Merritt.
I know of him. Yeah. What's going on?
I wouldn't normally do this. I try to be he's a track star. He's working really hard. I try not to interfere, but has he been okay? Past couple of days?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I've been seeing him around school, and he hasn't nothing really.
I know he's going to school. It's just, has he been? I know you're kids. You can't like tell me all the things, but he's not like doing the drugs or anything, right? You don't think?
Well, if he's in track, then he shouldn't be, at least. That would really mess up his chances of getting into a good school or a program. But he doesn't seem to run with that kind of crowd, I don't think.
It's just he's just changed in the past week. Something, I don't know what happened. Just one morning he woke up and he just was so different than he used to be. He used to be so happy. We'd have breakfast and we'd talk, and it's not like him. He's just been it's like someone flipped a switch in him somewhere. And I was just concerned. I'm his mom. I'm Andrea. Hello. I'm being awful and prying and being a total mom right now. I know. I'd like to give you a sample of fudge to make up for it. But he's my baby boy. He's my only kid, and I've been worried about him. It's, every couple of days having a bad day is fine. I understand that, but it's been a week and he's just different than he used to be. It's not just being a teenager. It's something just feels off, a mother knows.
Yeah. Hey, listen, if it makes you feel better, I'll check up on him. Okay. I'll make sure he's doing okay.
With that, she does move away because she does have to talk to some of the other people and sell some things. Cecily, on your side of the crafting tent, you pick up just like an absent-minded thing, and there's like a candy underneath it, like a butterscotch, but inside the butterscotch, it's made out of like worms. Like there are worms inside of the butterscotch wrapper.
I'm going to do the correct thing and try to find a garbage receptacle to put the wrapper in.
There is a garbage receptacle, but give me an alertness roll.
Because I'm thinking she's just assuming that it's just like, oh, bugs must have gotten in here, because we're on a farm.
Yeah.
What? I got another 21. This is my fourth 21 in a row. What is going on?
So here's the thing. That was a wrapped butterscotch.
Oh.
It wasn't unwrapped. It wasn't just hanging out in the wind in front of God and everybody. That was a wrapped butterscotch that had worms in it. And you are not being helped because whatever... You don't blame Jane, but there's not many other people like over here. Most people are heading over to Sweets and Jams because they're like going to do like a award ceremony thing. But whatever happened with Jane, like the grandmothers are now actively like maneuvering Doris to make sure she talks to nobody at all.
I am going to look and see if I can get to Jane because I need to get out of here. Like, this is no bueno.
Why do old women hate Jane so much?
I would say that is a problem, but the next problem is going to be the scream that you hear. As, Brick, you're the only one that's going to get to see us in this, Eddy. Eddy, where are you at the moment? Where have you, are you still hanging out in the crafting area?
I'm going to say after the chat with Jane, I would have meandered off to the suites and whatever to where I last knew Bulk and Skull were.
Yeah, Merritt is still tailing Bulk and Skull, but also there's just a crowd now because Carl is at like a microphone rattling some stuff off. Unfortunately, Carl does not see this, and Andrea Lee, Merritt Lee's mom, does not see this. Brick, give me an alertness roll, and we'll see if you see this, or if you're caught up in something called spiced pear compote jam, and you miss this completely.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
Eddy, you can do an alertness roll with a snag because you're concentrating, but if you get a high enough score, you might be able to see this and concentrate on the other thing.
Will do.
I got an 11.
You got an 11.
I'm going to take my tragic anything reroll on that 7.
That's probably wise. Brick, this spice pear compote, there's like some cardamom going on in here. Like they went all out for the spices on the spice pear.
The reroll was a 6.
That reroll was a 6, which does not help.
Can I take a story point for this?
I will let you take a story point for this. This is relatively important. So go ahead and do a story point.
This is alertness, right?
Yes, it is alertness.
14.
That's a 14. So, you're not really unsettled by much because you are a Power Ranger. The oven starts to shake. Did you ever see Fantasia, Rick?
Yes.
So when the mushrooms are like doing like the kind of racist Russian dancing?
Yeah, okay.
Imagine that, but imagine that's happening with an oven as it's becoming sentient.
The oven is Russian dancing.
The oven is not Russian dancing, but it's wiggling, and this is the most that I can think to compare it to. Then there is a scream that everyone is going to hear as Goldar lands nearby. He's not yet attacking, but he is in the air as the oven transforms into an oven monster. And as it transforms into an oven monster, before anybody can roll initiative or do anything before they can roll initiative, Goldar uses chains because Goldar has gotten an upgrade since you last saw him, unfortunately. He wraps Merritt Lee's mom, Andrea, puts chains around her, and moves her right into the mouth of what is now an oven monster. And there is a scream as she is eaten by the oven monster.
Oh my God.
Is there anything anyone would like to try to do before the thing that's going to happen happens?
Eaten.
I mean, you're not hearing chewing currently, but definitely there's an oven monster, and Merritt's mom, Andrea, is now inside of the oven monster.
Brick is going to throw down the jam that he's tasting, And
You're just gonna break a bottle of jam in ire and anger? I love
So Brick is gonna throw the jam bottle, not throw, but he's gonna drop the jam bottle and it's gonna shatter. And some woman behind the counter is gonna get mad and he's gonna go, oven monster. And the lady's gonna go, oh right, and then run away.
That's happening, but it's slightly more urgent than that. People are now screaming and starting to scramble away. But yes, this is a thing that Goldar was obviously waiting to have happen.
Brick is gonna run towards the oven monster, and he's gonna kind of like mumble to himself about how why does this has to happen today? All I wanted to do was try some jams. Why did Eddy have to be right?
You're going to do an athletic because you have to hurdle yourself over a table.
Okay, cool. Yeah. Athletics.
Yeah. Actually, give me acrobat. If your acrobatics is better, give me an acrobatics. It's more of a you're climbing over a table, so maybe it's better to be an acrobatics, not athletic.
Can it still be in athletics?
All right, I'll let you do athletics. I'm making you face an oven monster.
19.
Well, so you knock over all the other jars of jam, but it's for a righteous cause. Unfortunately, right before we're going to roll initiative, Goldar wraps you in chains and goes, no, not yet. And
I'm chained up.
You are going to take a snag to your initiative because you're going to have to grapple to get out of these chains. And also, I will bear everyone in mind as we go into initiative. You are in public, but I would like everyone to give me an initiative roll.
I got a 5.
Rick got a 5.
Jane got a 10.
Jane got a 10.
Cecily didn't get a 21. I got an 18.
Cecily got an 18.
Eddy got a 10.
Eddy got a 10. Oh, did that not work? Of course it didn't work. Why would it? Okay, I'm just going to roll a d20. The oven monster got a 5. I'll let you go first because you're a ranger.
Should Jane and Eddy re-roll because they got the same number?
Yes, I'll have that happen in a moment. And Goldar got an 18. Cecily, please re-roll yours first between you and Goldar.
I got a 10.
You got, all right. Cecily, re-roll again so that you don't get Jane and Eddy's score. We're going to work this out. It'll all be okay.
21!
You got 21. There we go.
Are we calling you Blackjack at this point?
I mean, 21 is not even mad about it. Jane and Eddy, please re-roll your initiatives because you got the same score.
My reroll is a 3.
Your re-roll is a 3.
11.
Jane, you got an 11.
Mm-hmm.
One of the things that you can do at the top of a combat round when it's your turn, instead of movement, you can reset your initiative.
Oh.
Just by the way, so everyone knows. That is a thing that you can do.
That's so cool.
Yes. But Cecily, it is your turn first.
Perfect. Well, so is everybody kind of scattered yet or no?
So people are scattering, but every round is like 6 seconds. So it will take time for people to scatter, but no one's like, well, some people are gawking, but people are scattering.
Oh yeah, no, totally. Well, I want to, is there like a table or like a thing I can duck under to morph? Because I think it needs to happen now.
So this is something for you to decide. Were you moving over to Sweets and Jams, or were you still at crafting? Were you and Jane still at crafting?
After the disgusting worm situation, I was trying to get out of the crafting area, so I was headed over to Sweets and Jams.
So it does take some time, but between the Sweets and Jam and the crafting is the livestock bar. So it'll take you your full turn of movement to get there to morph, and then you'll have to move more. But you'll be able to morph.
Okay. So I would like to morph if I can find like a place to tuck into with the livestock. They're about to know my secret identity.
Oh, that's not too bad for livestock. Go ahead and morph for me.
And I'm going to go like, it's morphin' time. And my magical girl sequence begins and ends with ribbons of blue fluttering all over me as a unicorn flushes by in the distance. And like, it's unicorn time.
It does feel a little empty to morph.
Do it better.
Yeah.
Do it again.
No. It's fine the way that you described it. It's just the feeling of morphing. You really loved your power sword.
I did, and it hurts to not have my sword.
But it also, you feel a little bit of the emptiness of part of you not being there. It's a very tiny thing. You won't recognize it for too long, but you have morphed. I will let you know. I will give this to everyone for free. You cannot look through hagstones while you're morphed because the helmet kind of gets in the way of your vision for a hagstone. So that is kind of the only downside to things. But Cecily, you have morphed. Goldar looks at you, Brick, and goes, oh, maybe I'll sacrifice you to the oven monster as well. Maybe the oven monster is hungry. And I'm going to have Goldar roll. Goldar is going to roll persuasion. And this is going to be against your cleverness.
My cleverness is a 17, so he's got a lot of work to do in that department.
Yes, Goldar rolled a 13, trying to shame you, trying to get people to laugh at you, trying to get you to doubt yourself, not even knowing you're a ranger, just being a dick about it. But interestingly,
he does know that I'm a ranger, though, right?
He doesn't know that you're a ranger. He's just making fun of the person that was trying to be a hero.
Oh.
I don't think he knows, because no, he would because you transformed in front of him.
Yeah, I thought they all knew. Like, I thought the villains knew who we were.
I mean, they kind of do. They also just kind of don't care. Like they have no real investment in you personally unless you get in their way, more or less. But if he recognizes you, he's not outing you. He's just being a dick, essentially. That's the thing to know.
Well, whatever he says to me, I'm going to retort back and say, you better fly home, Goldilocks, because we kicked your butt before. We can kick it again.
All right. Jane, it is your turn at 11.
All right. How far away am I?
If you're with Cecily, you could follow Cecily into the barn, or you could just roll right over.
How bad is it looking for Brick right now?
Brick is grappled in Goldar's chains, but all Goldar has done is mock him loudly. So take from that what you will.
That's rude. Is there anything between... Okay, let me ask this. If I wanted to rush forward towards Goldar, how close could I get from where I am?
You could sprint, so you'd use all your movements and standard actions. You wouldn't be able to do anything, but you would be within reach. But then you would just be within reach of Goldar.
Okay. Brick, hold on. We'll be there in a minute. And I'm going to go in the barn, and it's morphin time? It's the first time I've gotten to say that.
What? Really?
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm going to request that you do it. I'm going to request that you do it a little more verve.
Well, I just wanted to make sure that I could do it.
No, you can totally do it. I would just like it with slightly more verve since you are one of the grand heroes of Earth.
So, yeah. So, Brick, hang on. We're coming for you. And then she runs in the barn with Cecily. It's morphin time. And then Red Ranger.
After you've morphed, the gray tabby cat does meow at you, but not as if they are freaked out. They just meow at you as if recognizing what you have done.
Aw.
Okay. The cat is. Come on, gray cat, my butt.
Hey, you were the one that rolled that. So okay. So Jane, you have morphed. Next up is going to be the oven. Actually, I'm going to have you go first, Brick, and then the oven monster will go. You are currently grappled.
Okay. I'm currently grappled, so I can't do anything, or I can like try and get the grapples off. What would that be?
Yeah. You can try to get the grapple off. Roll your might.
12.
That is not going to be enough.
Damn. Don't worry, Jane. I'm not going anywhere.
Yeah, Goldar has you grappled.
Whatever you do, don't let him turn that thing into a brick oven.
Nice. So in order to get out of the energy chains that Goldar has you in, because they're metal, but they're made out of energy, you have to succeed in a 20 or higher brawn skill test, or deal 4 total damage to the chains in one turn or over time. So actually, give me a brawn. Yeah, give me a brawn roll.
Being a buff athlete, give me a specialization in brawn.
I mean, the specializations in brawn include lifting. So I'll give you the specialization, sure.
Nice. Take whatever I can get to get out of these stupid chains. Dang it.
That's a 15.
Someone's going to have to shoot me out of these things.
Yeah. And also, this is not going to add to your joy, Brick. You witnessed the back of the oven monster billowing black smoke.
Oh no.
And you hear chewing.
No. Oh my gosh. I already used my story point to reroll. What did I reroll?
And you also hear Merritt Lee's voice from behind you saying, "Mom?"
Wow.
Yeah, you had front row seats for all of that. The oven monster is not going to do anything this round. And Eddy, you were close enough, kind of on the other side. You are not grappled. But Eddy, you also just witnessed the oven monster turning black, heard it chew, and heard Merritt say the first thing today that did not involve bulk.
Thank you for that. That was, that's going to take a lot of freaking process. All right. Friend in trouble in public as well, so.
I will note that it does not say in the book that the energy chains have to be broken by 4 damage from anything ranger based. And you can throw anything at the chains. Got all kinds of stuff right around you, if that's the direction you want to go.
Well, I don't know. We got 2 rangers coming in a second, so I don't think he has to worry about that.
It's up to Eddy.
I'm going to try to convince Merritt to run.
Give me a persuasion roll.
I rolled a 10.
Yeah, that 10's not high enough.
And that's like one of my best skills. I just rolled really poorly.
That 10 was not high enough.
Actually, may I use a story point for this one? This feels important to me.
Have you used a story point?
I have not yet. The reroll I did earlier was the tragic anything perk because it was a snag roll.
It's pretty high for a story point, but it is important to you. So I will let you reroll that 10. I wouldn't normally let a 10 be rerolled, but I'll let you try again.
It wasn't meant to be. Even with a skill that I have a D6 on, this time around I got a 6. So
a 6. That is rough. And it's not going to get any better. Cecily, top of the round, it is your turn.
So I am morphed. I am running to try to save Brick.
Yes. The same rules apply. You don't need to sprint to get there all the way, but your movement will take all of that move action.
Okay. Is there anything I could do with my blade blaster to try to break him out of the chain?
Yeah, you can try to blast it or try to blade it. It's up to you.
I have enough space to do a blade?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'm going to do that because I'm better at blades than I am at shooting.
That's going to be a finesse. Yeah, it's going to be a finesse.
It's a 12.
You got a 12. You create some sparks, but it doesn't really seem to do anything. And Goldar kind of looks at you and goes, "Oh, Blue Ranger, is that all you've got? Oh, what a fun day this is going to be."
I've got more than just that. That's barely even an hors d'oeuvre.
I hope so. I'd feel a lot of shame right now if I were you. Goldar's a dick, so.
Yeah.
It is now Goldar's turn. And unfortunately, Goldar says, "Oh, all right. Now it's time to have some fun. Finster said this would work. Come to life and be undone." And, well, Jane, you don't see this because you're still in the barn, but everyone else will see this. The oven monster's mouth opens, and Andrea Lee has turned into a half metallic woman creature, kind of resembles a scorpion. There's no other way to put it. We now welcome Scorpina to the field.
That's crazy. Well, at least she's not dead.
She is not dead. You are correct. Scorpina got a 20 on initiative. So she'll go the next round. But Scorpina has entered the field.
Scorpina has entered the chat.
Scorpina has entered the chat. And Scorpina's not going to do anything this round. But Brick and Eddy and Cecily, you hear Merrily go, "Mom?" And Scorpina turns and goes, "Who are these?" And she sniffs, "Children." Like she doesn't recognize her own son anymore. She's also going to say, "Ooh, and I feel unleashed." And that is going to be all for Goldar's turn. Jane, it's your turn.
All right. So technically, I don't have to get all the way out there. I just need to get close enough for my man grabber to be able to reach it on a swing, right?
What are you trying to hit?
I'm not sure yet. I just want to know how close I can get to use it.
You have 3 times the reach, so you should be able to do it from the barn.
Okay. I think I want to try to hit the chains to get Brick down.
Okay.
If I can do that.
You can try anything.
14?
14. As you swing your man catcher, the fire on it goes out.
No.
It starts to turn black. And it crumbles out of your hands.
I forgot about that.
Been there. Hate that.
Because this is a very traumatizing event, I will let you attempt another thing. It didn't even reach the chains before it happened.
I want to. Can I shoot my blade blaster? Before I do that, has anybody had any negative reactions to their using their blade blasters?
No, just our actual weapons.
Okay. Yeah, I want to try to shoot.
Yes, you should. You're within range. I had to double check the range, but you're just within range of the blaster portion of your blade blaster.
I got it. I was shooting. I got a 9.
You got 9. Yeah, You went wide and you shot the jam jars that Brick had already broken. Brick, you're up. You're up to bat, as they say.
Are people still around? Still around.
They are. I mean, they're moving, and now you're starting to hear instructors shouting for students to return to the bus.
I can't morph, right? Because I am in these chains.
You could morph. You are in public, though. People will see you morph.
Right. And I can't use my blaster or any ranger weapon outside of morphed status.
Yeah, your blade blaster won't work outside of morphs.
Okay.
I will give you an offer. I have a thing that I would like to do as the GM. So you can decide to do something with your instinct, or you can decide to trust me as the GM.
Okay. I mean, I trust you, if that's what you're asking.
Wait, you trust the man who just shoved a house mom who likes to bake things into an oven?
I mean, Brick is getting kind of tired at this point. The only other option is that I'm literally going to morph in front of all these people. So if there's an alternative to that, I think I'll take it.
Before I do what I'm going to do, I want you to roll me a culture roll with edge, Brick.
12.
That's going to be enough. Culture roll with edge. You don't have the Hagstone on you anymore, or you don't have it by your eye. But out of the corner of your eye,
up, so
you are chained up. So yes, it's not in your eye, but you don't need it to see this. You see, Arduous Kruger, the shop teacher, that you've just kind of seen in passing. Eddy knows them. He comes barreling out to try to right hook Goldar. Obviously, it doesn't work because he's a human. But for a split second, he sparkles green. Just barely. And only you and Eddy see it.
okay.
Badass shop teacher.
Shop teacher.
And Arduous says, let go of my student, and Goldar turns to him and goes, "Oh, you're brave, aren't you? Don't worry. I won't need to be here for very much longer." And then the oven monster looks at Cecily, but is not going to attack you. Because Cecily, you're going to watch Merritt Lee, like a zombie, walk into the smoke behind the other monster and disappear. Just like Quentin did.
Oh, I'm gonna talk in my headset and be like, Jane, they're disappearing. Merritt Lee just disappeared into the ether.
What is going on here?
I hate it.
Eddy? You just witnessed all of that happen.
Yeah. This is a crap load of just emotional damage.
Yeah.
I'm taking my culture roll was my action for that turn.
So the bargain that you made with me was that basically Arduous Kruger would come to your rescue, and it's going to get you out of these chains much sooner. It also gave you information that you'll be glad you know later.
Yes. Okay. I just wanted to confirm that my turn was indeed over.
Yes. You're still grappled, so there isn't actually because these chains require, if you want to try to roll, if you can roll a brawn roll and get a 20, right now I will let you get out of these chains.
It's not going to happen.
You can try it. It could happen because even without any points, it's still a D20. So you could get a 20.
Nope. I got a 15.
You're being very heroic, though, and it's much appreciated.
Yeah, I'm going to probably like yell at the shop teacher, Kruger. Nice reference, by the way. I don't know if I've said that yet, but
it's not the reference you think it is, but you're welcome.
Interesting. Okay. I'm going to yell at him to get away. You got to get away from him. He's too strong. I'm gonna say something like that.
Archie
I struggle to try and take the chains.
I'm not leaving a student behind. Eddy, there's lots of emotional damage.
Emotional damage.
But you have weapons, so you can try to work some of that out right now. There's Goldar, there's chains, there's a woman that used to be Merritt Lee's mom, and there is a giant sentient oven monster.
We're still in the realm of public territory, right? For sake of just morphing.
Yes, you are still in public, but people are not really paying attention to you. So you could technically probably like turn a table over and morph, and nobody would like recognize what's going on.
Yeah, I'll take that gambit.
That's fair. This is going to be a silly roll because I know that you're very good at this. Give me a brawn roll to push over like a table or something so you can do this. It's not going to be high difficulty for you.
Sure thing. Brawn and not might?
No, because might is more like you're not grappling.
Just want to make sure I'm doing the right one, but that's all. I got a 10 because I'm still rolling low.
You're still rolling low, but I'm going to give it to you with a 10 because that's like average for most rolls. Yeah, so you turtle the table over so that you can morph if you wish to do so.
So toss the table up and then try to like duck down behind the portion of it, right? And there's a black Mastodon power and do my morphity-do thing.
Yes, you do it quieter. If only because now it's like a public thing. You're not like in the bar. Yeah. So
my special effects department is still working on the effects and everything. I haven't quite gotten to magical girdle territory.
They're still working on the effects. I'm going to let you, because you've morphed and a lot of emotional things have happened, I'm going to let you do something. What is it you want to do?
Using the Blade Blaster in melee, is that finesse only, or may I do it in a might style?
That is only finesse because it is a sharp weapon.
Can I dull it?
No, this is a game rule that I cannot move.
No, you're fine. You're fine.
Yeah, it is a.
Anyway, okay. What I would like to do is Brick, is he like just suspended in the air by the chains kind of thing? Or what's going on with that?
Brick is currently on the ground. I don't know if you want to give me any ideas. I wasn't going to suspend him in air, but I kind of like the cut of your...
But too late, your AC's on the ground. No take backsies.
Yeah, it's currently on the ground. I'm teasing.
I'm going to try to do the heroic strongman kind of thing, hopping over to Brick and grabbing those chains and trying to rip them off.
That's
apart.
Awesome.
That is dope.
Give me brawn with an edge.
And again, brawn, not might.
No, because it's actually the energy chains have a specific thing you have to do.
Roger.
So what I would normally say would be yes to might, but this is actually, it needs to be a brawn in order to wiggle out of these. But do it with an edge.
All right, so brawn. Specialty of stamina for brawn. Would that apply?
Yes, use any specialty you've got for this.
Okay. And I get to do this at a shift up because of my supercharged thing. And I get an edge for heroism. I have joined, at least temporarily, the Blackjack Club. I rolled a 21.
Hey.
Well, you know what? The power of friendship conquers Goldar's energy chains. Eddy, the guy that you were tailing, just turned into oblivion. His mom turned into a scorpion woman. Brick is in chains, and you just saw something weird happen to your shop teacher. And you, rip those chains off of Brick in twain. Brick, you are freed from your grapple.
Thanks a lot, Black Ranger. And
absolutely, citizen.
So good. That's going to be Eddy's turn. We are at the top of the round. Scorpina gets a turn because she has a 20. And what Scorpina is going to do is going to say, I feel so unleashed. And she is going to use. She has these Wolverine claws that in her fingernail, she has a Lady Deathstrike thing going on. She's going to use her fingernail dagger things. And she's going to try to hit you, Eddy. And she's going, this is going to be against your evasion.
Are you sure you don't want to go against my toughness?
No, because when you do it with finesse like this, it has to be against your evasion, not your toughness.
But my toughness is better.
I know. I know. This is just how it's gonna be.
By the way, my evasion is a 13.
I mean, you might get lucky. This is the first time she has done something like this.
It's the first time I've had something like this done to me.
sick.
Well, she got a 9. So she tries to get you, but on the curve around, she actually gets Mr. Kruger's arm and slashes it a little bit.
So in missing me, it hit a bystander. Damn it.
Yeah, but he's a shop teacher, so the fact that he still has 10 fingers is a miracle anyways. So he's
already on borrowed time.
He's only more angry, to be perfectly honest. And then something interesting is going to happen. Goldar looks at Scorpina and goes, "You're the newest general. It's not yet time. Live to fight another day." And then he's going to look at you, Cecily, and say, "You can't see it yet, but your nightmares have just begun." And then he and Scorpina are going to teleport off the scene.
Is the oven monster still there?
Yep, the other monster is still there, and it's going to be Jane's turn.
Did Cecily get to go?
Oh, Cecily, you didn't get to go. For shame.
Yeah, I just got...
you should go. You should go, Cecily. You were just addressed by Goldar in a cryptic fashion, so I feel
I hate that.
That's a good time. Yeah.
Well, I'm gonna blade this oven monster as much as I can.
You could also choose to blast the oven monster.
I could. I feel like she just always goes for blades, though.
Yeah. So here's your options. Your body is a weapon, so if your might is higher, You can do blunt weapons with might. You can use finesse for your blade blaster, or you can use targeting for the blast part of the blade blaster, essentially.
Let's do my body is a weapon. I want to give it some wax. I've got a really good might score.
There you go. That's why I suggested it.
I want to punch this thing or kick it. I want to kick it. Because I'm like,
Its
that was...
toughness is 15.
I got a 10. Can I re-roll that? I haven't used a story point.
You can re-roll it, or you can take the information.
I'll take the information.
You remember Restaurant Row, right?
Yes.
There was that little shop that had copper kettles. And this little shop with copper kettles came from Stone Canyon, and you got a weird reading off of them, whoever went into the shop. This copper kettle came from Stone Canyon and is made out of the same material and the same pattern.
That does not seem like a coincidence. With our helmets, because they're kind of like screens on the inside, can I snap a picture?
Because you're not going to attack this round, I will give you that free action to do a clicky thing.
Like a screenshot.
Unfortunately, you get a little static on the back end, which we'll come back to. But we'll say that you kind of got the picture.
Okay. I just want to explain in case I have to go back. Like, I have already drawn the conclusions. I just wanted proof.
Jane, your turn is next.
Jane's not really doing very well right now. Like, between Brick losing his powers, us losing Quentin, losing power weapons, we just lost 2 innocents. Luna is gone. We don't know where Luna is. Jane wants to run up and just punch.
All right.
That is what Jane's going to do.
Give me a might roll with an edge. And you're looking for a 15 or higher.
19. And while she's punching, I'm not going to lose anybody else. She's about had it.
Arduous is right behind you with a follow-up punch, which isn't going to do any damage because he's human. But he's going to go, that's the spirit, to try to give you a little bit of... he doesn't recognize your voice. I'm just going to say that. But, he's just trying to uplift your spirit, and he gets what you're doing. The body language is there. And you do damage to the oven monster. It's still billowing black smoke in the back is the only thing to be aware of. Brick, you are out of chains. Good news. Bad news is there is a civilian still here.
I made a promise to Merrick's mom that I was going to look after him. Did I see Merrick disappear behind the smoke? Did I see that?
Everybody saw Merrick walk into the smoke. Merrick didn't walk out of the smoke. So if you'd like to draw another conclusion, you can. But it was, except for the rotating spin that Quentin did, grappling with the derby car monster, it's essentially the same thing happened.
Maybe we'll do this accidentally.
I'm intrigued.
I want to run towards the monster, but I'm going to assume that they're facing behind, that I'm behind it. It's not facing me, so I'm running towards its back, which is the black smoke.
Sure. Are you just trying to run through the black smoke, or are you wanting to meet the monster?
I'm going to attempt to attack the monster. I want to. Can I wait? I can't morph and then do something, can I?
There's actually no mechanic for that in the book. I'm assuming when you morph, it's a standard action. So you wouldn't be able to morph and then attack.
Okay, so I can't
But you could go into the black smoke and
I can't do a jump kick and then morph while I'm jump kicking.
No, that's a bending of the rules that I'm gonna say I'm permissive, but even I feel like that is just too
Well,
much.
okay, cool.
It's a hard day. I know it's a hard day, but
well, yeah, maybe right now I try and I'm gonna run up to Mr. Kruger, and I'm gonna be like, I'm safe now. We can go. Let's get out of here. Let the Rangers handle this.
Give me a persuasion. It won't be very high. He's like, no, you go. I'm going to stay and help. He's like, you can go.
I don't want to run away from him. Is there anywhere for me to kind of like run to in order to like transform, I guess? Or is my action used up with that?
You've only so the skill check is like a free action, I'm going to say. So it's not really a standard action. So like I'll say one of the tent things fell over and it would block you from Kruger's view if you wanted to go and morph. Because you have no movement left for that. So
okay, yeah, I'm going to do that. I'm going to run behind the tent and grab my dino buckler and raise it to the sky and scream out, "Pink Falcon power."
I mean, maybe don't scream it because he is still right there. I know what your voice sounds like. But
fine. Okay, yeah. I'm not gonna scream it. I'm gonna grab my dino buckler. I'm gonna go behind the tent, and I'm going to go. Here we go again. It's morphin' time. Pink Falcon power.
It's so much easier for like the Wild Forest kids because like everybody knew who they were. They wore like jean jackets on their season that advertised they were Rangers. It's just not simple for the old school era. But you transform into the Pink Ranger, and then the Oven Monster is going to go, and they are going to try and attack Kruger. But Kruger's evasion is higher than 10, so Kruger kind of tumbles out of the way. Eddy, your shop teacher is like not half bad at this, which is a little weird.
Well, I did see that little glimmer of green, right?
You did see that little glimmer of green.
I've seen glimmers like that before.
Not the same type of glimmer.
Oh, okay. So it's a little different.
It's different.
I've still seen chromatic color mojo.
Yes.
Coming from people before.
Yes.
And he's also being quite the brave badass at the moment.
It's very true.
And so we got all of the usual suspects have morphed. Is he the only normie at the moment? The parent normie?
He is the only normie. Yeah.
We still got the Oven Monster there, yeah? So that's the
Oven Monster is there, but it has been hit a couple of times. So it's it doesn't really have eyes, but it has like those old circular ringing stovetop things that are kind of eye-like. So it's kind of annoyed looking, more or less.
I guess in that case, I'll yell out to the teacher. I'm trying to think of like a pun thing involving the shop class stuff, but that he doesn't repair fucking ovens or something in shop class. I
mean, also consider if you make a shop teacher pun, he'll know that you know he's a shop teacher, and you may also want to consider if that's something that you want him to know.
Okay, so I'm going to go after the oven with my fisticuffs, and as I engage it, shout out to the teacher. This is a different kind of party. You got a better outfit for
it? Give me that might roll. Mr. Kruger is going to go, what a weird thing to say. Give me that might roll.
I am rolling awfully low on the things that I'm decent at. 13.
Yeah, because you got like a D10 on that, don't you?
With the axe in play, yes. But without the axe, it's a D8.
I mean, it's up to you. You could try the axe.
Hey, no.
You can do anything. I'm not going to tell you how to live your life.
I don't want to join. I don't want to join my friends in their sad longing for that aspect.
Speaking of friends and sad longing, Cecily, it is your turn against the oven monster.
Oh, thrilling. Okay. Well, I know that it's shady, and I have information on it. I'm going to try to fight it again, because I'm just trying to at least, like, I know that there's the shop teacher. That's not what the shop teacher over there. But I am going to just try to. I'm going to try to kick it again.
Yeah, go for that. Go for that might. I will say this is going to be the last round of combat because all things that were going to happen or have happened. So we're just this will be the last round of combat.
Okay.
Yeah. Everybody's going to get a turn beating up on the creepy oven thing.
I got a 4. See, where are these 21s now?
Yeah, that was the time to get the 21.
Well, can I re-roll it? Because I didn't use my re-roll. I just want to fight it now.
If you haven't used a story point during combat,
I have not. I'm going to use it.
Then I would use a story point in combat. I'm all for that. A 25. For a 25 and a mighty kick, I'm going to give you 2 points of damage to this oven monster, which means there is 1 point of damage left. And Kruger at this point is going to notice there are students kind of lollygagging, coming close, and he's going to start wrangling them away back from the bus. So he's going to kind of leave combat. But that in itself is a heroic choice to do because you have everything to prove. Jane, you could end the oven monster right here and now.
I'm going to try to punch it again.
Please give me that might roll. 15 or higher. No whammies. No whammies.
Edge or no?
No edge.
Okay. 17.
17 does it. Jane, you give it a mighty kick in the door. Or what would have been the door. And it kind of starts to collapse and starts to turn into charcoal. Right before your eyes, there is a billow of black smoke that goes into the sky. But then there's nothing. No taunting from Rita. No message from Goldar. There's just nothing.
Well, that's weird.
I'm going to come out from behind the tent, all morphed and glimmering and shiny and ready to go. And I'm going to notice that the monster's gone. And I'm going to say, you guys can wait for me to... It's gone already? Oh, man, today sucks.
Hey, you at least got out of those chains, right? And give you a thumbs up.
So you do have, you have about 10, 15 minutes in the Mad Scramble. You have time to demorph. You have time to do, is there anything you guys want to talk about in the time it's going to take you to kind of get back to the bus and make it look like you were with the other students. Anything that you want to do as your day in the Salt Flats comes to an end?
Cecily is going to relay the information of like what she witnessed on the oven monster and how it related to the restaurant row and like the Stone Canyon connection. And I'm like, all of this, it's all coming back. And it's all a big circle. I don't know what it means yet, but it is not a coincidence.
As you say that, your risk communicator goes off, and you hear off his voice, but it's very staticky and it sounds very far away. And you hear trying position, and then static.
Jane is very abnormally quiet. Like, she has not said a word since she started yelling and punching the stove monster. She just kind of quietly demorphed and is following everybody back to the bus.
But earlier, guys, like, I'm sorry, Brick, for ranting at you guys like that, but like, when you told me that maybe I was just not dealing with things well, I was really hoping you were right, but I'm at a loss. I really am.
Brick is also just kind of like defeated. He feels like he didn't listen to Eddy, and now because of that, two people have suddenly vanished from the realm. One of them was turned into a monster. The other one's gone. And Brick couldn't save his friend. So now, yeah, Brick is just, he's going to kind of like hear what Eddy said and just kind of shrug it off. Not shrug it off, but like kind of like shrug and I'm going to say that I'm going to say that we might want to keep an eye out on that shop teacher. And that's all I'm going to say as I walk back to the bus.
Hey, Brick, but I just want to be very clear. I'm grateful that you were concerned it was overreaction. Regardless of how things actually went out, I'm glad that was your response.
Brick is just going to kind of nod.
I want to know what they mean by my worst nightmare. She's just going to Cecily's just going to say that to herself, like, because she hasn't stopped thinking about what Goldar said, and she's trying to put all the pieces together, but her brain is so like scrambled from everything that's been happening that it's hard to like form what's supposed to be happening.
Does anyone want to talk to Mr. Kruger on the way back to Angel Grove, or are you all just kind of lost in thought? Does anyone have any questions they wish to ask him? You're going to have other opportunities to do this, especially for Eddy, since you have class.
Yeah, I'm gonna set it aside for later, but I do want to inquire about the prayer beads and stuff, but not right now. Like, too much going on for that to be something Eddy would be thinking about, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, Jane just gets on the bus and kind of tries to sit away from the rest of the student body just to kind of like decompress and think.
Luckily, you're not alone. People are not feeling very chatty. And unfortunately, because what happened with Merritt was slightly more public, there's a video on Groves of it happening.
Whenever I see the video in like a social media setting, I'm going to report it to that general process. Might not actually do anything, but my little moment of white knighting will be that.
It actually does, because you're not the only one to report it. So that does do something. It does do some good. And there is good to come. I promise. It won't all be despair. It's not all assault flat. And there are things in motion that you can't see yet, but that will change the course of your time as Rangers. I promise. And I know I'm not acting as Zordon right now, but I will say, if you keep heart, there may be darkness. But there's always a rooster that crows for Hamlet. And there's always a dawn to come. And I think for all of us in the time in which we live, that's not a half bad thing to remember. Is that even in darkness, there is a dawn. And I will say now, as I probably should have said every episode, to everyone listening out there and to the Rangers, who I'm very happy joined me for this episode, I want to say thank you and may the power protect you.
Thank you. Bye.
Good night, everyone.
Good night,
Bye.
everyone.
Good night, everyone.